Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a pistol squat focused Kinstretch class. So it won't be that long because it's going to be some things to prep you specifically for that skill. The biggest factors in achieving your pistol squat will be your ankle active range. That's what I have the most trouble with for sure. Your knee flexion active range, and also hip flexion, and there's also some spinal flexion involved, which we'll kind of get as a byproduct of some of the other drills that we're going to do. But like usual, we will start with our cars, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to start with the neck. I am going to grab a medicine ball if you have something to give a hug, or you can just give yourself a hug, and we'll get started. Take that wide stance. 3 times around. All right, next we're going to go through spinal flexion and then rotation. So I'm going to keep that wider stance. First, I'm just going to bend all the way down as far as I can and then roll back up. So we'll do about 3 of those, and then we'll work in the rotation 3 times each way. Here we go, shoulder blades. side. Elbows. Wrist. Wrist. Hips. We're gonna go knees. Other side. Okay, got all the joints. First thing we're gonna do is what's called a feet together, knees together squat. So I'm gonna be using the squat rack to hold on to. If you have a door frame you can hold on to, that will also work. Or if you have a super light kettlebell, like something between 8 and 12 kilo, you can use that to counterbalance at the bottom. But we're gonna try and hang out down there for about 2 minutes. So the object is to keep your feet flat on the floor, trying to sink as low as you can into that squat, pretty narrow stance. Ideally feet as close together as you can, but if you're a little bit apart, that's fine too. Just trying to sink down, drive our knees forward, and breathe, all right? So I'm gonna turn the timer on. We'll go for 2 minutes there. All right, so hopefully you're getting some deep breaths in to the lower back, kind of feeling that 360 breath. We're gonna take it one step further. So if you still have something to hold on to, that is going to be helpful. But we'll try and stick one leg out. So if you are in a door frame, you might have to like switch sides of the door frame that you're holding on to. But if you have a squat rack, that is super helpful too. So we're gonna come down. We'll try to take a breath. We'll try to just stick one leg out, and then we'll switch sides. So we'll do that just a couple times, but we're trying to feel what's called single leg balance. That is tough. So you can do that with a kettlebell as well. You're just kind of directing the kettlebell out in front of you for that counterbalance. So starts closer to the chest. As you're lowering to the bottom, you're kind of extending the arms out a little bit. But Kinstretch doesn't normally require kettlebells, so you can easily use a door frame or anything else that is secure. So those two drills are mostly to work the ankle primarily. What we're going to do next is just a static hold for knee flexion. So all we're going to do is stand, hold on to something again if you want, and we're going to pull that heel towards your butt. Probably feel a stretch on the quad. And we'll try and breathe there for about 2 minutes on each side. All right, so the last part we're going to do is we're going to try and put it all together. So you can do one of two things. If you have a super light kettlebell, you can try to use that. If you are super mobile through your ankles and knees and hips, and you don't need any counterbalance, then you can try this drill just freestanding and arms making a fist. If you need just a little bit of help in that bottom position, you can also use a tiny plate. If you have any plates, and I'll show you guys what that looks like, both using a plate or using a very small kettlebell. So if we have our plate, I'm actually going to take my socks off so I can kind of grab the floor with my toes. What we're going to do is lower down, both feet together. Then we're going to try to stick one leg out and stand up. So to me that feels harder than holding a light bell, just because making a fist, it's like there's no weight counterbalancing you, but again, if you have that mobility, you might just be able to sink right down into it, no problem. If you have a light weight, you could even use a dumbbell or your plates. We'll do the same kind of thing here. Hold it at your chest height, sink down. So as I come down, the weight comes away from me a little bit. Cool? So let's try one more on each side, either variation, whatever you guys like. I'll go through one more of each, just so you can kind of see that again. So doing those variations where you lower down, bring the leg out, and stand up helps you build strength in that bottom position, because the non-working leg is actually really still doing a lot of work. It requires a lot of hip flexion to be able to keep your leg straight out, especially at the bottom position, because it demands a higher angle. So if we use kind of the principles from FRC, using isometrics, long holds, and kind of accessing the different areas of body control for this specific skill, it's a really nice blend, putting together the kettlebell skills with that FRC system. So if you're thinking about active range, it's a lot easier to hold your legs straight out here versus the more I lower to the floor, the larger demand this angle is going to be. So practicing it in that bottom position is going to be super helpful. The last thing we'll try to do is a full pistol squat. Your first goal is going to be to try to hit parallel, but the lower you have control of that range, the better. So I'll show you with both things again, or if you're at home and you're just doing it body weight without any assistance, try to knock out about 3 singles on each side. Light bell. All right, so you can try one more, whichever style you prefer. If you want to try and do no assistance on the ground, that's where I always have the most trouble for sure. So doing the body weight certification in April, that's going to be my biggest challenge, is hitting that depth with no counterbalance. So ironically, I can do a pistol squat with the 24 kilo, but when it comes to doing it body weight, definitely have to keep at opening up that ankle. So we'll do one more rep, whichever you prefer, and we'll wrap it up. All right. So that was a specific class combining FRC, Kinstretch, and applying it to a skill. So most people do not really incorporate the pistol squat into their training, but it is a super awesome, powerful tool to have in your toolbox. So if you would like to approach learning it, going through this video multiple times is really going to help you set up the kind of warm-up drills or progressions to really building your pistol squat. Maybe you couldn't get through all of them today. Maybe you could just practice a few in the beginning, and that's okay. Just work with what you have and keep revisiting the feet together, knees together, single leg balance at the bottom, lowering down and just working half of it. Putting all that together is what's really going to make this skill come along. So super fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this class. Drop me a note if you give it a try, and we'll see you next time. Bye.